track, each corner fight, ain't turning back. Crank it loud, boys, let it blast. Roads of fury racing fast. Southern pride racing hours here. Feel the fire, shift the gear. Nights alive, wheels embrace, burn the streets, set the pace. Hours, speed's the creed. Southern fried racing breed. Southern fried racing hours here. Fuel the fire, shift the gear. Nights alive, wheels embrace, burn the streets, set the pace. Hours, speed's the creed. Southern fried racing breed.
All right, we are back, and we now have Rumble and some of the other ones like YouTube and a few others that were not, as we were already live. And if you've been, then you've been watching. If not, okay too. So I don't know how that happened. I'm blaming on me. I don't think he hit a button. We don't. We're usually in the studio together, so he wasn't feeling the best. So we just joined in from remote, which we haven't done it in so long. I don't know if you remembered how to do it, but he got in there. You did good, dude.
Yeah. Thank you.
Our special guest, Tommy Robertson, and I don't even know what area you live in. I think where do you live? What state you live in?
I'm living in Lynchburg, Virginia.
Oh, okay. Your phone did say that. And I was thinking when I've spoken some churches in Virginia a few times. And one time, I'm going to say in Virginia, they get some serious snow. I was in upstate Virginia, and we were headed back to speak at a church in Bristol, Virginia. And by the time we got to Lynchburg, it was deep, let me tell you. We made it all the way to Bristol, and God made a window for us to get home from Bristol. The whole area was ice and snow. But I think that's some of the biggest flakes I've ever seen as I was approaching Lynchburg. Man.
You
we don't usually get that kind of snow here.
You said Bristol, and that's close to the racetrack where I'm racing in Coburn, Virginia, and that's Southwest Virginia. Yes, yeah. That area just gets hammered.
Oh, yeah.
During the rainy season and snow during, the fall and the winter.
Yeah, we got down to the church, and I didn't think that they would. I didn't know, we're Baptist, and they don't like to cancel services a lot of times. But I was hoping they did have the service, and my wife said, because we had been debating whether to just stop and get a room and cancel. Because it was bad. People wrecked on the side of the road and everything. But we got to the church up there, the head church, and then it was mainly ice from Bristol south into Chattanooga, which we're on North Georgia, just outside of Chattanooga. And I got to looking at the radar and everything, and I said, Lynn, this is amazing. Because she's like, are we just going to get a room or try to make it? And I said, there is a window. That's a narrow window that goes all the way from Bristol to Chattanooga that's clear. Everything, 360 around it was snow and ice. I said, God has just opened us up this window, and we're going to go through it. The roads were dry. We didn't see ice or nothing. It was amazing. And later on, it did ice and snow that. I said, we have a window. Let's take it. So we had that happen a couple of times. But, yeah. Well, welcome from Virginia. We're both in North Georgia here, the Chattanooga line. And we thank you for being here on the show tonight. Hello, Dusty. Poff Racing. He's in Ohio, part of our crew here. And so, Tommy, because it is a racing show. We're probably going to talk about some other stuff. But what is your earliest memories of racing? How did you get to loving racing?
Oh, man. What a question. What a good question. I grew up and went to school in Asheboro, North Carolina. I am originally a Tar Heel. And my earliest memory was unforgettable. It's gone with me through all my life. And it is seeing Sam Ard race at Caraway Speedway.
Whoa.
Now, we used to live down the street from Sam's shop. And one time I got on my bike and I rode up there and he was working on the car. And, I didn't want to I didn't want to, distract him. So I just kind of watched and then I left. And then I came back another time when he was working and he said, well, hello there, young fella. And I talked to him for a little bit, didn't want to interrupt him, but he was very kind and just very welcoming. And that was my very first mindset of racing. And the Thomas Brothers Country Ham 00 team, they were dominating at Caraway and in the Busch Grand National Series and in the what was it called, the Busch Late Model Sportsman, when Jack Ingram and L.D. Ottinger and a bunch of those guys were racing each other. That they just supercharged me. It's just like, wow. Sam's down the street at the shop and he's over here at Caraway racing, and look at him race, man. He's he's smooth and he's fast and he's a real nice guy. He had the whole package. So
how old were you at that time?
Man, I was in my like 10, 12, 13, 14.
I was
right
just
around
thinking
there.
The power of an impact. How different would that have been if they had not been nice to you and treated you bad, or say, "Get away, kid"? I mean,
it would have turned you down.
So amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it would have kind of soured it a little bit. But if you liked racing, really, really well, then that bad experience, if that had happened, I probably would have thought about it and it would have stuck with me, but I would have brushed it off because, hey, this person or these people are not indicative of the whole sport. So, you just kind of go another direction and get involved with other people.
I just noticed, like, you even are, you said supercharged, and how much that even affects you even today, thinking back to it, what a great opportunity that was for them to leave that kind of lasting impact with somebody. And I think most racing is that way, and people that are connected to it. But if we're going to save racing, if we're going to continue to grow and recover and whatever else, it's going to take reaching out to kids like that and really getting them excited about the sport. I believe that anyway myself.
I agree. And that's why, at the track that we have the little juice box races for the little ones. Joey Owens, the track owner at Lonesome Pine Raceway, has come up with that idea to put the little ones out there and get them exposed, at the kiddo level. And they appear to like it, and the fans, the families, bring their little ones out there, and they seem to have a good time. So that's a good direction to start for sure.
That's right.
Absolutely. We have had some dirt tracks close around here. We think that the attendance is pretty good at most of the tracks we've had contact with. What are you seeing when you go to the track? Is it a pretty good collection of drivers and fans, or which I know people come to watch their, the team, they may be connected, they may be family. What are you seeing when you go?
Well, I'm kind of basing it on last year, and the car count this year is much, much improved. It's up. And that is due to the fact that Lonesome Pine Raceway was sold in the fall of last year to one of the guys that raced for the Chase Dixon Motorsports team that I'm on, Joey Owens, late model racer.
Whoa.
He decided that, hey, I want to buy this track and turn it around put it in a different direction. And he has sunk a whole lot of money into this track, repaving, concessions in the pit area, the stands, the general admission stands were in disrepair, and he's worked on that. But this is just level one. So he's got, the next couple of years, he's going up, level 2, level 3 in improvements. And for what he's done right now, it is just phenomenal how it looks from what it was. So
Awesome.
I think that as far as the stands, it's picking up. It's picking up for sure. I mean, every race, you know, I'm watching, I'm looking, and it appears to me that the standards are slowly but surely, you know, filling up, and we're trying to get the word out that, hey, you know, new track management, you know, new ideas, and so I think we're only going to go up. There's no question.
Good.
I love that. You know, as we go back and we look, you had that initial interaction, and what an amazing interaction that was. Who would you say mentored you or fed that, or was there anybody there that just sort of helped you along and helped nurture that love that you were getting for the racetrack and racing?
Man, that's another good question, because I think it was self-sustained actually. In the earlier time when I was involved with Sam Hart, I got to be involved with his team as I had worked in Asheboro on the radio. So I got to get a little more intimate involvement with them. And I didn't really have any mentor until now. I had some mentors in motorcycle racing because let's see, I wrote it down because I probably couldn't remember what the date was. From 2015 to 2019, I ran a Honda CBR 1000 and a Suzuki 750 at VIR, Virginia International Raceway. And that was with the Championship Cup Series and the American Superbike Racing Association. So there was no opportunity after, I believe, like 85, there was no opportunity to race. Now, if you back up before then, I did one Bowman Gray race in a blunderbuss car, and that was media. They invited all the media, TV, radio, newspaper, and I was on the radio at the time in Greensboro, so I was part of that media race. And that was a little bug. That was a little like, this could be something fun. And then a track promoter, 311 Speedway in Madison, Madison, North Carolina, which of course 311 Speedway is dirt. He heard me on the radio talking about other tracks in the area, A Speedway, Caraway, Hickory, maybe Wake County. And he heard me talking about the paved tracks. And he says, hey, how would you like to come out to 311 and check us out? I said, sure. So I went out there, and then he says, well, what do you think about driving a pure stock car out here? I was like, are you kidding me? Yeah. Okay, let's do it. He says, come out Thursday and we'll get you on the track. Now, mind you, I never had any experience whatsoever on the dirt, but I had experience, you know, racing on the back roads of where I lived. And so that was an eye opener, and I did very well. It didn't surprise me, but I did very well. And once the car, I think we lost like the brakes on it, and they said, well, you know, hope you had fun. And I was like, yeah, great. I love it. Well, a guy walks up to me, he says, well, how would you like to drive one of my Camaros? He had the top two Camaros in the pure stock class. I said, heck yeah, I see you guys up front all the time. Let me see what this car is about. So he put me in his car, and I think I ran just a few races and finished in the top 10 and top 5. So once that was over with, then there was a lull between that time and then 2015 when I got on the motorcycle. And once I got on the motorcycle, that was the totally different motorsports there, leaning and going really fast. You know, down the front stretch at VIR, you can get up to 165, 170, and then you're breaking down to get into the corners. But my heart wasn't really in it because I wanted to be on a paved track. You know, I wanted to race it because I just knew I could if I had the opportunity. So it stayed with me. You know, it was like, okay, well, you're not going to do that. Just do this now. You know, this is what's been handed to you. So just have fun with this and do the best you can. Well, after that ended, then last year, here comes another door that opened up through, and I won't elaborate too much on this, but the Jeffrey Earnhardt Racing Experience is a
Whoa.
group that, do y'all know about that?
Yeah.
That was my door to get on an asphalt track at Lonesome Pine Raceway
Oh,
because they had 6 races, twin 25 lappers at Lonesome Pine Raceway. So I was like, yeah, man, this is my door. It's not, it's not the late model class at Lonesome Pine, but it was a late model race with other people that wanted to, pay to race. So I thought, hey, go for it, get in there and do the best you can and have fun with it. And the very first race I was in, I won. And I got a pole, and that just kind of like, okay, well, I know it's not, the late model guys here at Lonesome Pine, but let me just keep going with this and see what happens. So I'm watching Chase Dixon Motorsports out of Bluntville, Tennessee. I'm watching these guys, because you're mixed in with all the other divisions racing for Saturday night. And I saw Chase Dixon and them, and I was like, man, look at these guys. They're like a small ARCA team. They've got their stuff together. They are really professional, and they had they got the best cars, best equipment. One of those kind of teams. They take it very serious. It's very serious. So I just said, well, how am I gonna talk to these guys? I'm a nobody. I'm just somebody that wants a chance to get out there and race. And so I finally got up enough nerve to talk to Chase, and one thing led to another, and then I walked over and talked to Chris Dixon, his dad, and they just welcomed me in and said, yeah. I said, well, did you guys see me out here? I mean, I know you don't want just anybody in your cars. And so they said, yeah, we'd like to have you with us. So we set up a deal, and that's where I'm at now in the Super Street class at Lonesome Pine Raceway.
Amazing. I love it. And I know we kind of jumped around, but it's okay because you've had a varied life, a lot of different things. You've mentioned radio. Go back and talk about how that occurred and how that ties in with you were doing some announcing for racing at some point. Okay. Because we need to capture that too. So how did you, I love radio. I love it. I love what I do here. How did you get into the radio? That is so cool.
Radio was the best time of my life. I tell you, on this earth, I've looked back on it, and it's just like, man, I had a great time with, talking to the listeners and going out and broadcasting live and giving away stuff. Radio is the big giveaway, the big giveaway house, free T-shirts, free coupons, money, and all this. But I got started by listening to the AM radio, and it just fascinated me. I was just blown away about the theater of the mind that radio at that time created. And I got one of those little things called Mr. Microphone, and you could talk into it, and it would give you the effect of, hey, you could hear, you could talk like you're on the radio. So I listened to a guy in Cleveland, Ohio, and he was phenomenal, named the Real Bob James, on 1220 WGAR in Cleveland. And I just listened to him every night. He was so funny. That content just surrounded me, and I said, yeah, this is what I want to do. This is really what I want to do in my life. And then one thing led to another to get on into radio in Asheboro. I just went up to them and said, hey, I'd like to be on the radio. And they said, well, it's going to take you a while to train. Give us 2 years. Come here, when you can. We'll arrange for you to go in the production room and play like you're on the radio. Well, I listened to the local radio stations too, not just the big signals that came out of market. So I was fascinated with it and just was determined that I was going to be on the radio. And it just took a lot of time. It took a lot of, just drive and determination. And one thing led to another. And the program director listened to my tape and he said, hey, I think you're ready. I think you're ready. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to put you on the FM country station, 92 country WCSE. And I worked on the weekends, still in high school. And I also worked a little bit on the AM daytimer, the middle of the road station, played a little bit of everything, top 40 type. And I got involved in that through high school and even out of high school, and took that up to a point. And then I decided, I'd run into a little personal circumstance, and I decided, I really need some motivation. I really need to get myself redirected, because when I ran across this incident I think I was about 19, I just, I really felt like I needed some help, not from my mother and daddy, but just from, okay, we got to be a man here. We got to start learning how to be a man. So I went in the Army, and I spent 4 years in the Army, and that turned my life around. It really did. It gave me a direction, gave me purpose, gave me a determination, gave me the will to do things, even when you're down and out and, behind the 8 ball, you never give up. And so I spent 4 years in the military, came back out, went back in the radio, and got out of radio in 1995, and then moved into the Postal Service, delivering the mail, in March of 1996 until 2 years ago when I finally retired. So that's a big span of a lot of different things going on.
It sure is. And what an amazing thing. Hey, Dean, just letting you know, I muted you just while if you need to, I can do it or you can do it if you want to ask a question. We're getting a little bit of back feed, so I just I think it's through you. So just so you know, just when I wasn't silencing you.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Just unmute yourself if you need to say something.
You can't silence him because I'm running my mouth too much.
No, you're fine. No. You're good. You're good.
It's all good. I do co-host and engineer at the same time. You know how it is. Hopefully one day we'll have an engineer as well. Military, postal service, radio, kind of got this. Did you have a childhood NASCAR team that you liked? Did you also dabble in that as far as a fan or anything?
Oh yeah. Of course, the number 3 Goodwin Chevrolet. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Kind of figured.
Yes, sir. All the way. There's nobody but him in my radar. There's nobody but him and Sam Ard. And I think I favored Sam Ard just a little bit more than Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
It's all good. So, was your dad into racing? Did he like it at all, or?
They loved it. Him and my mother, they would go to Caraway and spend a lot of time out there watching races. They even came to 311 Speedway in Madison and took the old video camera, the old camcorder and taped one of my dirt races. I got it on VHS somewhere. I haven't had it converted over yet because I got to find it. But yeah, they were big time race fans.
That's good.
What is your what is your defining moment through all of that in relation to racing or something else? What is your favorite memory through all that? Radio, racing, meeting people, being a part of it, doing it. I mean, what is that thing that stands out when you look back and you go, that was dang cool right there?
Man, I've been blessed. I've been blessed to experience a lot, and I don't know if there's any one thing that stands out because they're all on the same kind of plateau, but equally exciting and equally important to my life at that particular time. So, gosh, I really don't have one.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I don't know if that's weird or not, but
no. It's a collection of things that make up the defining moment, which is there's nothing wrong with that. Some people go, well, I won this race, or this was a big moment for me, or I crashed out, but it's a lasting memory. but sometimes it's just a collection of life.
Well, I mean, if you think about it on a level right now, I think I'm in a defining moment with the Chase Dixon Motorsports team because it's been a task. It has been a challenge. It's been a real challenge for me to learn how to drive this race car, find the right line, find the right setup. It's just been one thing after another, and a lot of it is me, being a rookie and trying to understand this car. I definitely take my portion of it, but I'm not driving out there, on the air. There's a car that I'm sitting in. So me and the car have just been at odds most of the year until this past Saturday when Keith Helton, who is a championship late model driver, runs out at Kingsport and other tracks, and he kind of took me under his wing and we did a track walk, and he started pointing out some things. And when somebody helps you with whatever problems that you might have, you're getting a lot of this information. It's just like information overload. So you got to pick up what's going to work, what's going to work, what's going to turn the lights on. Well, he turned some kind of light on because I had a phenomenal race this past Saturday night, and that's going to continue on. It's not like a one and done. There's lights on now, So that was a huge moment for me in the most recent time.
Love it. I love it. Dean, what questions you got? I know you got something.
Do you have any merchandise that you sell?
I do. People can find it at islandgirlvibes.com. That's all one word, ISLANDGIRLVIBES.com. And
buy from our guests, so that's what we ask, and hopefully encourage others to buy and support the cause. IslandGirlVibes.com. Awesome. I love it. I have purchased several hoodies. I was never wore too many hoodies, but I've got enough hoodies, I think, to keep me warm this winter that's coming up. I bought several from our race friends, and/or hats and shirts. And
oh yeah,
in fact, I guess last week I have a shirt for my son coming in and a hat for me. So we're looking forward to wearing that stuff out. And
yeah.
Pass, and I think Dean ordered something. So
I did a shirt.
Got a shirt, yeah. So we like to wear that stuff and represent for drivers and stuff, and that's cool, man. Thanks for sharing that. What about safety? Go ahead.
Matter of fact, this is one of the shirts right here. Okay. All American Racing. It's got the logo in the middle. Is the unit patch of the 82nd Airborne Division, which I was a member of.
Whoa!
I was a paratrooper at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. So I kind of got with someone, and we kind of worked that little logo up, and we have it on the shirts and even the hats.
I love it. I love it, man. And we'll give you some follows too. I appreciate you giving us some follows today. I was at work. I will reciprocate that and follow you back on your various socials and stuff. So what are you mainly on? What social media platforms are you on?
Mainly I'm on Facebook at All American Racing, and Instagram at Tommy. Let's see, how is it? Tommy Robertson _ 82. And I'm on TikTok, I think, and Pinterest and something else, but I don't really that's not my big ones.
Yeah.
Just Instagram and Facebook.
We'll make sure we give you a follow, man. Keep up and encourage you on as well. What kind of safety features are featured in your car from restraints and or fire suppression stuff like that, do you have or don't you have on the car?
Yeah, got definitely fire. Got a bottle behind me, and can't remember how many point system it is. Can't remember the 5, because I'm always keyed up. I'm just, I'm just like, man, I got to get on the track. I got to get on the track. Calm down, calm down. My crew chiefs always tell me, Diamond Dave Roop, now Tommy, you need to just calm down. Don't grip that wheel so hard. Just calm down. So I've got a multi-point strap system, and I wear the neck restraint I think it's by Simpson.
Yeah, that's usually that. Or
Somebody.
there's a couple other ones out there that people use.
Yeah,
To stay safe. What about sponsors?
Man, I wish I had sponsors. I don't have any.
Just to make sure if we had any, we could mention those.
Yeah,
Car.
that's a task for 2027 that I'm lining up right now. I'm lining up the tactics to get involved with that. I do have a sponsorship deck, but I've been sending out proposals and inquiries to people. And I told one guy at Leadfoot Racing on Instagram, I said, well, I'm just going to change my last name to No, because that's all I've heard, from these potential sponsors is no. So I've adopted that last name as No. But I if you stop, then you're hurting yourself. And if you keep going, you could be hurting yourself too, because the no's. But I don't care. Hey, you got to do something, and you got to try, and you got to be persistent, in a business, in a way that you're benefiting the business. It's not just, hey, I need help with tires, I need help with hotel, whatever it is. It's what you can do for them and what you're going to do for them.
Absolutely.
You got to explain the value to them.
You're exactly right. We had a guy on that does some sponsorship help for teams. He lives in Canada. Man, I'm going to forget his name, but it's one of the things he said is you show them the value or how it's going to hurt them if they don't sponsor you because of the potential views of their product on or inside your car or on your uniform, whatever it is, that people will see that. You're going to miss all that if you're not there. That's a potential of lost sales.
Well, social media is just blown up. It is so huge in regards to advertising and eyes on the target kind of thing, in that there are so many ways to reach people now as opposed to the traditional way of newspaper, radio, TV. They're still involved, but not like social media. Social media is immediate. So if you can convince a sponsor that you got X amount of views, you got X amount of followers, which is a good basis, but you've got to be the right fit, for that particular brand. You've got to try to make them believe that you're the person to be the spokesman for their business.
Yes. And I would love to, I think about people having your background with radio and everything. You would just be a natural in helping sell that kind, because you understand that from the different sides of radio, the team, and that's what it's all about. It doesn't matter the vehicle. I'm meaning whether it's a radio station or it's a race car or a podcast or whatever it is. You're showing your value, and you're used to doing that. So I think you're well grounded to do that, and the yeses will come eventually.
I hope so, because there's the other side of the coin, in that I'm a veteran. I'm a veteran of an Army paratrooper unit, and I've spent 2 tours in Iraq. So, I would have thought that I could get linked up with someone with a nonprofit or a business, and they would be able to see the value in that. But maybe it's just that I've been going off in a different direction and haven't come across those people yet.
Well, maybe this will help. We hope. We'll keep pushing.
Yeah, I hope so. I really think it's going to do something because somehow I was led to this. I woke up this morning. Here's Dean with his message, and I was like, where did this come from? How did this happen? What is this about?
Dean, that's why we call him Sir Chaser. He has chased down so many interviews. I don't even do it anymore. I mean, sometimes I get one, it just comes to me. But Dean's out there beating the bushes, and I don't know how he does it. We talked about the experience. We have the CEO of the NASCAR experience on the show. I mean, he's riding along in his Tesla. I thought, wow, we've hit the upgrade button or something. Now I don't know what happened, but it's great. Dean, you had a question. Go ahead, brother. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. I can't do it for you. You muted back. There you go. Now what's your question?
What kind of tires do you use?
In our class, the Super Street class at Lonesome Pine Raceway in Coburn, Virginia, we're running the Hoosier Comanche 80s. It's an 8-inch tire. Boy, there's a difference between an 8-inch tire and a 10-inch tire, I'll tell you that. And it's treaded, so it's a treaded race tire. But they're phenomenal tires.
Yeah, what are those running now? What kind of cost are they? Or do you know? You may not know the cost. They may be just setting it up for you.
Yeah, it's for two because we can only use 2 every 4 races. So we got a way to switch the tires to get the maximum use out of it. And I think it was somewhere in the $300 and $400 range. Could be off.
Yeah. Have you had any wrecks? Some people have them. Have you had any?
No, but you could call me, the freaking raceway spinner. Oh, man, I spin out way too much. It's just like, what in the world? This is crazy. I spun out in the race twice now in 2 different races. Like, man, what in the world is going on? But I've not crashed. I've avoided crashes. Good. But not yet. I hope never.
That saves a cost there too. You're not tearing the car up, so a little bit of spin.
Have you ever got disqualified?
No.
Good for you.
Good.
What is the? I know it's racing, but between motorcycles and the car, what is there a different mindset as you approach the race between the two? Besides the technical part of how you're going around the track, is it different or it's just all racing for you?
Well, I'm always nervous anyway, so there's that factor. I've got to learn how to just chill. That adds into the big picture of preparing, mentally on the bike, because you're running some really fast speeds, and you're not thinking about anything but the corners, and you're visualizing in your mind going around the track and what you're going to do, in each section, which I do the same thing at Lonesome Pine. I visualize. So, and there's a difference between 8-inch tires and 2 motorcycle tires. You got 4 Hoosiers and 2, Dunlops or Pirellis on the motorcycle. And the setup for a bike is almost like a car. It's got some of the same components, but it's different. So there's a lot of factors.
Yeah. I could never imagine myself going 165 miles an hour on a motorcycle.
No.
You know what? I appreciate those that do. That has to be some kind of an adrenaline rush right there. Wow.
All right, all state patrolmen, put your hands over your ears, starting now. I used to race on the back roads, and it got to be to where, I better stop this because I'm going to get killed out here. So that's when I went on the racetrack and channeled that from out, running out in the countryside of Virginia to a mile to 2 mile road course at VIR. So yeah, 165 down the straightaway. Once you do it a lot, you're just working on, okay, I gotta hit my brake points. I gotta make sure I turn in right. You're not really thinking about the speed, and your adrenaline too, just like in a car. Your adrenaline is
I just
up.
think it's amazing. Yeah. So that's the same as an athlete. Like, like early in a game, they'll say a football game or something. They'll say the teams are running on pure adrenaline right now. They'll get settled into the game. The throw might have been a little overthrown because they're really amped up. So I guess this crew chief and just how long does that really do, or does that? Do you get into the game? Do you get into the mode that you need to be and kind of come back down from that when you start the race, pre-race, getting into the race? Is it always there, or do you find you kind of lock in after a while?
I think it's always there, and it has to be modulated, for me, because I could just get really fried on adrenaline and just be so pumped that I get nervous, and then I would start doing things that would throw me off or put me behind. So for me, adrenaline continues when I'm in the race. It's just going. But I had noticed in a couple of races where I just faded. I mean, I was doing really well going up front, and then I'd fade back to, 7th or 8th after trying to get in at 5th or 4th. And I'm not sure if that's psychological. I'm not sure, if it was because I wasn't taking enough vitamins and, doing some other things. So I just kind of rearranged myself so that wouldn't happen. And it didn't happen this past Saturday night. So, it was all adrenaline. And then as the race started winding down, it started coming down too, but not a whole lot, just enough to manage.
When a race is over, do you analyze it a lot, or are you able just to put it behind you other than the important parts? I'm an overanalyzer myself. I analyze stuff for weeks, months. Some people are, some people are not. What's that like for you?
Man, another good question. Oh yeah, I'm an overanalyzer. I can see the race in my head. I may not be able to see the particular movements I made unless there are things that stood out. But I know what got me to a certain point. I know what led me to, charging up front or running side by side with somebody, or how the car felt. So I usually take about 3 or 4 days after the race and just kind of self-analyze everything. Just think about it. Just really think about it. And once I put the pieces into place for, okay, that's behind me, we got another one coming. So then I drop all that, and then I go into practice mode, thinking about practice. And I'm a terrible qualifier. Good Lord of mercy. I mean, just the worst. And I can't figure that out, but, we're going to work on it. We're going to get it. So I just kind of I move forward as it gets closer to race weekend, and just put the past behind and come out with a fresh start, a fresh, mindset, and, just a fresh attack mode.
Yeah. When you're in the race and you're going, I mean, there's so much to focus on. I don't know how you manage all. It's a multitask for sure. But do you ever in your brain, like sometimes when I'm doing stuff, I just have things pop in my head. It might be music, and it could be a good thing. It's just like there's a rhythm to what you're doing. Does your brain ever allow for that, or are you just so locked in you don't really realize anything else but the sound and the vision, the side, and what you feel when you're racing?
I think for me, I'm so locked in, I'm over focused, and I try to back off. and just relax, A huge part of my program is the spotters. These guys, are like psychiatrists in the sky, they're at an elevation. They're looking at the track. They're seeing every move I make. They're seeing every move everybody else has made. So they're also tacticians. They direct me through traffic. They tell me when people are close to me, and they also, are inspirational in that, hey man, it was a good lap. Got to do it again. Let's go. And they'll push me, and I'll leave it at that. I don't want to get into, too much of what goes on
Sure.
that, but it's
Do
a
you have the
huge
same
part.
spotter? Do you have the same guy every time, or girl,
Yeah,
or whoever it is?
John Pittman usually is my spotter, and Jacob Witt had taken over a couple of times. So, between both of them, there's two collectively different styles, and both of those styles just seem to infuse, my mindset on the track. So they both have worked out. Jacob's got, a lot of NASCAR experience spotting for other people in other series, and so he's been a real help. He really has, the light just turned on with him too. Talking as I'm in the race. So those guys are crucial.
Yeah, that's a part of the race that we don't always hear unless you're listening to that radio traffic. But it is, I mean, they can calm you down, they can encourage you, they can all those things, and
Sure
and
can.
there are people who kind of lose it sometimes. They kind of lose their temper. I mean, in the NASCAR circuit, I would say definitely Osavar is one of those.
Yeah.
Bubba Wallace is one of those. He loses his temper. There's a number of others. Some people are a little more laid back. But it gets you off your game. If you get too angry, then you get focused on that person and things. But that person can, and the crew chief, hey, it's okay, be all right, let's just go get it. We'll make it up or whatever it is. So it is like a psychiatrist in the sky, you just have people helping you there to give you what you need at the time you need it.
And luckily, I got a good crew chief in Diamond Dave, and we got this thing where I'll get out of the car and he'll be sitting back, he'll be going, "Oh man, you really screwed that one up, didn't you? Oh man." It's kind of a little thing that we got going between us. And I appreciate the psychological aspect of it. So I just feed right on into him, and he's just a tremendous legend in short track racing, having been involved, in many disciplines of racing. He raced himself, and so his knowledge, and that's a good thing about the Chase Dixon Motorsports team, is the knowledge is just phenomenal. There's so much that you can draw from, and so much experience. These guys are literally they're all diamonds just waiting to be discovered by that one huge moment. But I think they're okay where they're at. So that moment comes, great. If not, they're absolutely good with what they're doing now in the late model, limited late model, and super street classes at Lonesome Pine Raceway.
That's amazing. And as you grow together, I would hope that moment comes, and many like that, when you just boom and everything just sort of clicks. That had to be some kind of a feeling, to know all the work and all the different things that frustrate you and everything, to see a payoff on that. It would the feeling, the adrenaline rush off of that would be unbelievable.
Oh man, it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah,
it's coming for me.
You can feel it off of you, that, and that's an amazing. I feel it,
What's your card number?
Number 82, Chevy Camaro, LZ1. It's
and
a beast.
Why that number, or was that number already there?
That number is is a commemorative number for the 82nd Airborne Division
Okay,
in the Army. And so the color scheme of the car and the logos and stuff were kind of centered around that mindset. You know, the airborne wings, and the AA was the unit patch of the 82nd Airborne. And if I may, I'd like to shout out some guys that I was stationed with in Alpha Company, 1st Battalion, 325th Airborne Infantry Regiment, 2nd Brigade at Fort Bragg. And these guys, we shared a lot. We did a lot. You know, we suffered a lot. We experienced life together. And, you know, just shouting out Lieutenant Brian Dorn, Sergeant Whitey Firestone, Special Scott Beamish, who that's a story. Boy, that is a story. With he and I in a training exercise, we busted some special forces guys, but that's another story. And Specialist Nick Philandrianos, Corporal John R. Wigington, and PFC Mike Rico spent a lot of my early life with these guys. We all kind of grew up together down there at Fort Bragg.
Awesome. Salute to all of you in your service to our country. So I'm assuming you've did some jumps before, knowing what that unit is. So what kind of things have you jumped out of in your training and or life experience? I know I've got a friend, he did the same thing. He did about 55 jumps in his career. And so he's a big guy, like 6'4", so hips and legs and everything are kind of beat up. But what kinds of things give us an idea of what you jumped out of?
Well, we jumped out of, at Airborne School, I jumped out of a C-123K Provider, which was a smaller version of a C-130 aircraft. And then I jumped out of C-130s at Fort Bragg. And then let's see, what was it? The Cadillac. I can't remember what the number, C-140. I think it was a 140, and that was a bigger capacity aircraft. Yeah. Helicopters were the Huey, and I think I got a Black Hawk jump down the road. So those were mainly the aircraft that we had at our disposal to carry us around on training and standby for combat if anything happened.
So what is the adrenaline difference, or is there, between a jump and the racing? I mean, it's all a different feeling, but is there any comparison? Is one much greater than the other, or is it all just something you did or do?
For me, I'd say the racing is more consuming, and for jumping out of an airplane, it's just, you know, you're at the door, you're out, and you're down, and that's it.
Yeah.
I had, you know, I'll share a moment that was really like significant in my life there. I had an anxiety attack one time at Bragg, and I was convinced I was going to die. I was convinced that I was going to die that day on a jump, and I didn't want to jump, but they made me. And I wasn't going to say, no, I'm not going to jump, because that would have been a termination, and then they would take your wings from you and then send you out somewhere else. So I'm like, well, I'm going to have to figure it out. And I wasn't really grounded in the Lord at that time as much as I should have been, as opposed to now. So I didn't really lean on him, hardly any, to be honest. I knew it was a part of my life, and I knew, you know, what he occupied in my life, but I just didn't lean on him. So I just bore, you know, the magnitude of that anxiety attack. I was convinced I was going to die. And so I had just resolved myself. Well, okay, this is it. All right. So I get on the airplane. It's an early morning jump. It's like after 5 o'clock in the morning. And I was just really amped up. What am I going to do? You know, I get to that door and jump out. I'm going to die. So there was a guy in front of me, and he kind of moved a certain way and stuck his foot out. Well, I stood on his foot to hold him up. And by standing on his foot and him trying to break loose, took that anxiety, and it went, what? It was gone.
Wow. I
let loose of his foot. He moved on through the door, jumped out, and I moved on right behind him and jumped out, and, you know, we're good to go.
Yeah. I met a guy one
Strange.
time. Yeah, he found this coin, and on the coin was an image. And he calls me one day. We were working together, and where people sent word to me, he wants to talk to you. And like when I saw him a couple 3 hours later, and he's like, "Hey, I need to talk to you right now." He said, "I found this coin." I said, "Well, that's interesting, you know." He goes, "No, it's not, man." He said, "This is bad." I said, "Why is it bad?" He said, "That image means death." And I said, "I don't know if it is or not, but what does that mean for you?" He said, "It means I'm going to die." And I said, "I don't think that's how that works." I said, I understand it's affected you, but we had a long talk and it took me a little bit, but I think I finally convinced him he wasn't going to die. And an image is an image. It doesn't, decide your life. And that I was able to witness to him. So I come to church for a while, he'd been in and out, but it sure did scare him. I mean, you never know what's going to affect somebody when you have something like that happen. That's amazing, man. I appreciate you sharing that as much, and that wasn't wrong of me to ask about your military because some people, maybe don't want to talk about it too much. But thank you for your service. We mean that. Here.
Yeah, I'm just one of many. As I tell people, I'm one of many. There's a lot of us out here that served, and thankfully so. Thankfully so.
Absolutely. So, what does the immediate future look like for you and the racing in the next few weeks or months? Give us an idea of that.
Well, I'm going to
where you're going to be, things like that.
I'm going to bear down on trying to find sponsors. I've got 2 races left, maybe the September 5th race, maybe. And my focus is pretty much going to be, let's keep that momentum from this past Saturday. Let's do everything possible to keep that momentum, and let's finish out the season, on a good note. And I'm determined. I'm all the stuff that I've gone through this season. I'm determined that something good is going to happen. So, I'm going to will it to be. Whether it happens or not, we'll find out. But that's going to be my focus, and we're going to be doing some practicing and getting the car ready, and just go out there and get in a groove, and just keep hammering it.
When does the season start in 27? What month does it start in?
I'm not sure because we haven't come out with the schedule yet.
Gotcha.
And I'm not real sure when that schedule will be determined. Obviously, once the season is over with.
And the time we have left, I just want to say real quick, and I appreciate you so much mentioning your faith. And for anybody listening, whether you're a race car driver, just somebody popped by this channel today, or whoever you are, you may be a faithful listener, you may be your first time, you may be a Christian, you may be not, you may be a Christian but got away. I think if anything, we show on this that, a couple things. One, God is always ready to forgive you. Amen for that.
Oh, yeah.
And whether it's that first time and you're born again, or you messed up again, I'll raise my hand. I mess up often, probably daily, if I'm honest. But your story really shows, and now you can look back, but how God has brought you all along through some of these things, and now we have the blessing of, and I don't mean looking back in a spiritual way, I just mean looking back and appreciating how God, like the footprints of the sand, He carried us along, even when we didn't realize He was, and now you say I have this much closer relationship with Him, and how much more satisfying that must be now to give Him praise and include Him in your racing plans. That's so awesome, man.
It's just amazing to me how things have gone in my life, and the numerous crises that I've avoided. The tribulations, it's for real. You go through these trials and tribulations, and you will come out on the other side when He's ready. Not when you're ready, when He's ready, and it's going to be much, much better. Now, I'm not Bible thumping, as they say, and I got to repent every day. I'm still doing things that is not pleasing, and I'm working on it. I'm trying. I'm trying because my mom and dad are gone, and they were 2 of the most important people in my life, and I really didn't stop my life and say, "Hey, man, you need to respect your mom and dad more by hanging out with the family and doing more things. But I was like, I got to work. I got to do this. I was selfish. And that will get you nowhere. But, the consequences of being selfish, and my consequences are that I made some mistakes that, I should have spent more time with my mom and dad. But now, they're gone. I lost my mom October 4th of last year. And that really changed my life, my thinking. It just changed a lot. And I have to see them again. I have to see them. I have to be up there. I have to be going to that place of salvation and eternal life. The only way you can do it is through Jesus. Now my friends are going, you don't ever talk like this. You don't talk like this, and you don't cuss, and you don't do this, you don't drink, and all this other stuff. But I'm not perfect. I mean, there's only one person that was perfect. He was nailed to the cross, and he defeated death. That is the perfect person, and he's willing to save us. He wants to save us. And, again, I just really believe that as I have changed my thinking about my life and gotten closer, to reading positive things, positive scriptures from the Bible, just having a positive outlook, being around people that are positive. Don't be around people that are negative, that have drama. God will take care of them. You stay around people that are positive and have your best interest at hand, and stay faithful to prayer. Excellent. And things will turn around for you. It will happen. It will. Yeah. I'm proof. I'm proof. And I'm not, I'm just another human being on this earth, but God created me. So it can happen to anybody at any time.
Amen. We gonna definitely clip that. That is so good. I mean, it's such a blessing, and I know it will help somebody. I mean, it helps me. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. And as I told you on the phone today, I lost my wife just a few weeks ago. Yeah. And I went through a real battle. I'm not saying I'm out of it, and trying to keep everything going here, my life, my work, raising a granddaughter, trying to be the leader of the family still, my sons and other grandchildren, and trying to be strong for them. I found out, one, I'm not as strong as I thought I was. It's all his strength, not mine. And number two, life is forever different now. It's just not going to be the same. I have to realize that. It's like I knew it with my head, but I didn't know it with my heart. Yep. And there's a lot of empty days. I try to fill them with the Lord and good friends and having fun and being me to be. And doing interviews like this are really a big help, and it's a big blessing. So if nothing you said was pretty much, which I know it was, it definitely was a blessing to me. And I thank you for saying it. And we've been inspired, I believe, and blessed by you being here. And you said it couldn't have come at a better time. So we know that God's in control of all this. And thank you. We want to keep up with you. You're family now. So we're going to get out there and look at your merch, and we want to keep up. What's the best way to keep up with the races, the two that's left? Is there something that we can look at, or just go to the track that you're going to be at and look at those things? How do we find out how you finished or how the races went, where you're going to be at?
You can certainly follow All American Racing on Facebook, because I post a after race report on Mondays. Great. And during race week, I always post something about either practice or the things that are coming up at the track. And even when the track has some information to put out, I'll forward that, on my page. So my page is all about Lonesome Pine Raceway. And I really want to shout out the Chase Dixon Motorsports team, because I don't know if they understand how much they mean to me, and just how much this racing means to me too. I kind of just go overboard with it mentally, but I have a burning desire to be like a Chase Dixon, to be like a Keith Helton, the guys that are very successful, have been running for years, And I'm one of the ones that, hey, I can get in there and I can do it. And, and then I don't. And then, it sets me back mentally. But then I think, hey, just have positive things happen and just keep going, just keep stepping. So I appreciate them taking a chance on me to drive their car and not crash it, wad it up every race. And they're a blessing to me, because I prayed about if I should be doing this. I said, well, God, if I should be doing this, then, just send me a signal. Let it be known somehow. And it did. And I was astonished. And I was just, okay, well, God wants me to do this for whatever reason. I'm trying to figure that reason out, but I'm just going to enjoy, all that he's provided for me and all that is going on, with this experience, with this moment in my life. And this is a big crucial time in my life, to prove to myself that I can do this, then that good things are coming, and that no matter, what I don't do right, when I turn in or don't get on the gas or the restarts are terrible, it's okay. It's going to be all right, because I'm going to pick it up, and we're going to be there. We will be there, because we got the backing of the King, and when he wants it to happen, it'll happen.
Amen to that.
I've already seen it.
Yeah. What a blessing that is. Is there anything we didn't cover that you wanted to say? Feel free to plug that in. Dean, if you've got anything else you'd like to know.
Do you watch NASCAR on Sundays now?
I really don't. I don't watch it because I really like the short track racing. I'm kind of consumed by it. I'm consumed by watching the guys on my team because they're just so good. They deserve to be in NASCAR in the Cup Series, but they are where they are because they enjoy where they are. So I don't find it as exciting as I used to, especially since 3 is not on the earth anymore. And I kind of pick up some ARCA stuff here and there. I am one of the big engagers with Alex Club. I'm kind of interested in the fact that he doesn't have all these major sponsors, and yet he just keeps plowing ahead, and his stuff breaks down, and it's giving him a hard time all the time, and he doesn't finish where he wants it, but he just keeps on doing it. He's just determined. He doesn't have the major equipment, but he does what he does with what he has, and he just keeps hammering at it. And I can sense that and kind of see some of myself in what they're trying to do. So, I kind of follow them, and that's really about it. If you ask me, where did Bubba finish, or, where did Hocevar finish, or did you see them crash? I don't.
Yeah. I think that's a lot of people. It really is. Even though we do follow it, there's a lot of we've heard the same thing before. I'm enjoying the racing I'm in, or what I'm doing here. It's not as fun as what it used to be for me. I just like what we're doing in these others, and they're really busy with that. So a lot of guys are working on their car, or with Sunday they may be racing. Some of them have kids that race now. They got kids that part racing. Sometimes that's on Sunday. So there's a lot of different reasons, but I think it boils down to about what you said. It's just not the same since their driver's not there, and they've kind of moved on to some other things. We are blessed with having a lot of different kinds of racing, which is and maybe it's a little more affordable too. NASCAR's gotten very expensive, I know, and everybody's trying to make their money work for them. And and Pete, you want to take your family, and if you can't afford that, then you kind of, what's the point?
Well, I tell you, we have some of the best racing, and I've seen racing for a long time. Of course, talking about Sam Ard and that racing and at Caraway. At Lonesome Pine Raceway in Coburn, Virginia, every division is stout. There are some really good race car drivers at that racetrack, 3/8 of a mile track, 18-degree banking in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And these guys provide some exciting racing. Joey Owens, the track owner, said, remember, guys, we're out here to entertain the fans. We're in the entertainment business. And that's just like, It snapped on, yep, just like radio. We're trying to entertain people safely, trying to be safe about it. But there are some really, really good people in my class, and there are some really stout late model drivers that I would rather see a Keith Helton or Chase Dixon or some of the other guys, even Brad Housewright, who runs at what's that track? I'm drawing a blank here. Kingsport. Even him, he's pretty stout too. So I'd rather see those guys. They are masterful. These guys are masterful in how they save the car, how they pass, how they hold the lead, how they qualify. And it's just a joy to see these guys, do that. That's, to me, I'd rather see that any day than get free tickets to a cup race.
There you go. And there is Lonesome Pine with Chase Dixon Motorsports. That's his Facebook page. And awesome. Good looking car there and folk. And you can scroll down through there. There's a lot of pictures and stuff. And go follow them as well. And I know that they would appreciate that. And we appreciate you saying that and giving them some screen time. And we're glad to do that as well. And anybody associated with the team that from the whoever would like to be on the show, we'd love to have them. So just let them know. Open invitation. I know they're busy, but anytime they want to come be a part, we're here. And we would
Chase would love Chase would love to be on. And Chase is, it seems like this guy never has a life. He's always at the track or at the garage. But he is the most giving young man. He is just a really good person. And he would be an excellent person to talk to. He's a champion, and I think he would love it. So I'll definitely mention it to him if he hasn't seen, the show tonight.
Yeah. And folks, we're sorry we started, but it ended up working out. See, God just does all things. I don't know if we've ever done a show that we were live and we didn't even realize, at least on part of the channels, not all of them. But you know what? It's all good. You get to see some behind the scenes, and we didn't say anything that would have been bad. So,
That's right.
No,
people get to see how you live when they don't even know the camera's on.
That's right.
So we were just talking about different things of life and racing and the podcast, and so those things happen. So it's all good.
Well, you got
go ahead.
You got a yak attack over here in Virginia, so that's a fault I've had from radio. It's just like, man, turn off the mic. The music's got to play, And
let me say to you, Tommy, and just tuck this away and use it however God wants. You ever want some time and you would like to do a show or anything, you just let me know. We got spots available. You can make that happen, man, because you got the background in radio and the voice, and you have the ability to do all that. You just let me know. If God ever wants you to use that in some way, you just let Dave know and the team here at Wolf Nation Network, and we'll make it happen.
Man, thanks for that. I appreciate that. Nothing I've done in my life is because of me. I'm just the vessel that God has provided. I don't have the power to do anything. I'm not no big name. I'm not a big race car driver. I just go on will and determination. So, I'm just blessed.
We are too.
And I would just say, God is no respecter of person, and everybody has their own part to play in this grand cosmic thing that we're in with God. And who knows how God would use that? I know for a fact there are unbelievers watching tonight, and I know they're being blessed. I know for a fact there's race car enthusiasts watching tonight, and they're going to be blessed. And you just never know how God is going to use something that's happened tonight or said. And I'm all for that. That's what excites me, is just seeing what doors open up, and God says, "Okay, this is what I want you to do now," and just make it happen. That's what's fascinating about it.
That makes sense, because I prayed. I said, God, you gave me the opportunity. You blessed me with racing with Chase Dixon Motorsports. What do you want me to do? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. What do you want me to do? You want me to help somebody in the stands that needs help? You want me to help, another racer? Or do you want me to be, some kind of a mouthpiece or something? What do you want me to do? So that's where I'm at in my life. What do you want me to do? Because it's not about me. It's not about me anymore.
Yeah, it's the Isaiah comment, "Here am I, Lord, send me." And you know what?
Yep.
When we open ourselves up like that, there is nothing that is not possible. The only thing that ever limits the possibility is us. If we're willing to turn ourselves over to whatever God wants us to do, there's absolutely nothing he can't accomplish. I mean, he's God. So it's just our willingness to do it. He's not going to drag us into it. He will lead us. He will guide us. He will convict our hearts. But he leaves the choice to us.
That's right.
And if we want it, he will provide everything we need in it. And that's just amazing. So he throws can't out the window because it's not in his vocabulary, because he can do anything and we can do all things through him. So what a blessing. Amen. Hey, have a great evening, my friend. And we'll drop everybody down. We'll run a little music or something here and let everybody get out before we take down the channel. We'll be in touch, my friend. And we look forward to having you on again.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. And it's been a blessing to just kind of open up a little bit. Normally I don't, and I just kind of stay in the background and be quiet. But sometimes God says to me, maybe you want to open up a little bit, and I'm like, nah, not really. But this is really helped, so I appreciate it.
And we kind of went over more than we normally do, but I just felt like I was supposed to, so I just let it go. So if you're never comment with it. Thank you so much.
Never comment, okay?
Yeah.
All right. I got your message, Dean. Thanks.
Take care, my friend. See you soon.
Thanks.
Whoops. Hit the wrong button.
Smoke, southern skies, the throttles choke. Fast and fierce, racing souls, tearing through the endless cold. Twisting metal, thunder growls, screams of tires, dirt that scowls. Crank it loud, boys, let it blast. Roads of fury racing fast. Southern pride racing hours here. Fuel the fire, shift the gear. Every laugh a rebel's dream. Gasoline, hearts and the scream. Dave and Dean crown the track. Each corner fight, ain't turning back. Crank it loud, boys, let it blast. Roads of fury racing fast. Southern pride racing hours here. Fuel the fire, shift the gear. Nights alive, wheels embrace, burn the streets, set the pace. Hours, speed's the creed. Southern fried, racing breed. Southern fried, racing hours here. Fuel the fire, shift the gear. Nights alive, wheels embrace, burn the streets, set the pace. Hours, speed's the creed. Southern fried, racing breed.